What is up, my fellow dragons? Today I'm going to do a rant on a person who can't understand what art style means. So, I've already seen the video, so I'm just gonna go off on a tangent here, and it's gonna last a while. And I'm also going to bring up bits and pieces of her work to show a little bit of context for what I'm about to say. This is completely unscripted because my phone can't film anything that's over 7 minutes. I have too many dank memes for that, so I'm going live, and it's gonna be raw, uncut, unjust, unfucked. So, we have our little nifty little intro here. You look like my friend Olivia if she took copious amounts of cocaine. There, I fucking said it. So the way she defines contemporary art is essentially the day that Steven Universe started to air. May 21st, 2013 to 2019, when really contemporary art includes 20th and 21st century. Bet you didn't think of that one, eh, Fran? Fran, buddy?
And it's the fact that the majority of artists between the ages of 12 and 15 through 16 basically have the exact same art style.
Citation needed, please. Citation fucking needed. Because, honey, not everyone has the exact same art style. If everybody had the exact same art style, we wouldn't tell the difference between one another. But we can tell the difference between one another because you want to know why? We essentially Frankendoll other people's styles into our own. Like, I am guilty of doing Frankendolling of other people's styles. Hell, my main style came off of the design from Sackboy from Little Big Planet. Here, I'll show you an example of my more recent artwork, the ones that I am most proud of. Here's one piece that's called Kids in the Dark. This is like little teaser album art, I guess, for a friend. But notice how the shading is completely different. It kind of has that Coraline-esque kind of thing. And it's kind of like that backwards, reverse shading in a way, so that's pretty cool. And the eyes glow. And I did that on DeviantArt Miro. Excuse me. My oldest artworks tell a different tale. But you know what? I actually worked off of my own styles instead of copy everyone else like you so claim. Going back to the more modern artworks, this is when Trench came out, and this is supposed to be Tyler Joseph, and Vulture Wings, and the whole 21 shenanigans. But you claim that everybody has a Steven Universe style? Honey, I made my own art style with bits and pieces of other things that you probably don't know. Oh look, older artwork, still the same concept. This is Suicide Boys. And hey, old artwork with a friend that I collabed with, because you know what? I'm a dumb artist. Oldest artwork that I'm still proud of, my old persona. See what I mean by Sackboy? I actually was inspired by LBP Hero Monster 5, who now goes by Inkbat, and they deleted all of their art, and I'm very sad about that. So it's pretty damn bold of you to claim that everybody has the exact same art style. You just gotta look a little deeper from the popular mainstream art and look for the more underground artists like myself. Then you'll probably see the diversity. But no, you've got your head up your ass, of course.
And I think it's damaging people's art development.
Damaging people's art development. What do you mean by damaging people's art development? Are you saying that people are gonna be in a giant circle jerk with whatever Tumblr style that they've got? Admittedly, I like the Tumblr style. Not because of the style, but because of the fucking colors and the shading. It's pleasing to the eyes. Maybe you've gotten so much. You've got your head so far up your ass that you think everything that's not your art style is a Tumblr art style. Weird Al Yankovic looking ass.
I looked into DeviantArt to find some examples of artists like these to kind of represent the art style I'm talking about. And these are the people that I've picked: Renari, Yokio, Marbleach, Old Trash, and Minky.
Huh. Strange. Here's the question here. Did you actually ask those artists for consent to be put into your video? From what I tell from another person, you didn't. So, is this harassment? Maybe. Maybe. We'll have to see.
If any of you guys are watching this video, hi.
Oh, they're gonna watch it alright. And they're not gonna be happy about it. I'm actually surprised that you didn't include me as an example of what a good art style is supposed to be according to your standards. I mean, you don't know me, I don't know you personally, so I guess it just kind of shits its brains out and then puts it back in through its mouth hole or something like that. I don't fucking know. Oh yeah, on a side note, I'm gonna be skipping some parts of the video so we can get to the raw and juicy context. Majority of this is just her talking about art styles and how petty and how the same they are. But here's where she gives the example. And this is when she starts digging her own grave.
Her first is more Steven Universe-esque, and then
I don't see any Steven Universe inspiration. More or less, I actually see more of a traditional, kind of Disney-esque art style, in a way, especially with the mouse and the way they shade their eyes. I don't know, that's just me.
her second one is extremely cartoony.
And what is wrong with extremely cartoony art styles, miss? Art styles come in many different shapes, sizes, forms, colors. Hell, they even have their own fucking personalities, like mine. One interesting thing I like to do, that you might drool all over me for, is I like to experiment with different people's art styles. I like to mimic people's art styles so I can understand their form. I did this once with Comap, and I'm just like, hey, I can mimic people's art styles, here's what I tagged. And they were like, oh cool, that's really nice, I like that. And I'm just like, thank you. So, yeah, I mimic other people's art styles so I can understand their anatomy and take inspiration from that. I also like to go for even more cutesy, softy, uwu pastel, or fucking creepy as shit. I'll give you an example of the things that I mean by uwu pastel and creepy. What I mean by uwu pastel is essentially cute art, like this for example. Notice how soft the colors are. Notice how the proportions make the character chubby, because the character, well, is chubby. Look at the coloring, for example, because my trademark in my style is the way that I color things. So this is kind of like a alien goat character that is essentially like Beastie Boys. This is kind of like on the borderline of cutesy and creepy, and this was inspired by Zombie by the Cherries. And look, again, I mimic people art style so I can take inspiration. And clearly my coloring style is inspired by Gulakas. She also did the album cover for Lapfox Tracks, and I can thank And I can never thank her enough for that. This is what I mean by creepy. Distorted proportions, etc., etc. Features that most humans would fear sexually. My favorite part is the teeth. Hello, person watching this. You're watching me rant over a person because they're just flat out wrong, so enjoy the ride. And yeah, for a little bit of context, I'm ranting on Fran, and my phone can't film anything that's over 7 minutes.
Let's take a look at the first. Now, if you look at these pictures, wow, receding hairline, who? Now,
your forehead is bigger than your dreams, and the diversity of your art style. I'm just saying.
If you take a look at these pictures and think, wow, these all look the same, but I don't know, maybe I'm just messing up. Maybe I don't have an eye for art. You're actually right. It is all the same. Structurally, it's literally the same picture.
What you're saying, same face syndrome, is same art style? Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. Same face syndrome does not mean that everybody has the same exact art style. You're comparing apples to oranges.
I've gone ahead and highlighted all of these things for you. I'm not just accusing Renari of doing this. I'm talking about all of the other artists mentioned in this list.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure? Because what it seems to me is that you're shitting on people's art styles. I don't know. That's just me.
Because they all just have the same face, but I just decided to take Renari as a primary example.
Renari's art style is very unique, to say the least. The way that they shade their noses is kind of like a thing that I rarely see in other art styles, and for that, I applaud them. But for name's sake, she's comparing Renari to other people's art style who have similar elements. So I'm going to skip majority of the pieces that she says. Let's go to another art style that she completely shits on.
Look at these eyes. I personally just love the Western way of drawing eyes because they're really diverse.
So of course she glorifies Western eyes and Eastern eyes, like anime and such. I mean, I used to kind of draw in an anime-esque style, but then that kind of got a little bit too niche for me, a little too boring, too cliche. So, yeah.
But if anime is more of your thing, then there you go. And of course, Renari has her secondary art style, and once again, it's all the same. So I'm not gonna bother repeating myself, but yeah, there you go.
I feel like what you're trying to go is what I call the Sackboy method. The reason why I call it the Sackboy method is if you ever played Little Big Planet, you'd understand. The Sackboy method is essentially where you draw a base in the style and then put on elements for the sake of the character. I used to do this a lot, but now I'm trying to go more diverse with body types and such. Like, some of my characters have abs, some of my characters are really chubby, some of my characters are taller than other characters when they used to be the exact same height. So, yeah, I don't see what you're trying to go with this, Fran.
Practically the same. Basically, it's what I just said, it's all the same faces, everything. I wouldn't be able to tell these characters apart if it wasn't for the horns. But,
Way to exaggerate your point there, buddy. If you're actually trying to help the artist, don't ever make hyperboles about their art style. Like, ew, I wouldn't tell them apart because of the horns. No, I can tell them apart very clearly because of the elements that they put on, hence the reason why there's such a thing as the Sackboy method. I'm going to be skipping more parts of this video for the sake of time. This is where she shits on mouths.
Art style, and then, everything else is just like a mush, a fusion of these two mouths. So I've gone ahead and made a chart for you guys.
I am guilty of doing every mouth ever #1, but I don't do the dots on the ends of the lips. I'll give you another example. Notice the smirk on Mongrel's face. It's a little bit pixely. Notice the smirk on Mongrel's face. Then notice every mouth ever #1 and every mouth #2. Smirk, mouth, smirk. Let's find another. This one is more cat-like, especially with the upturned lip. But this is where things get interesting because I am an artist. Look how completely different the mouth is on my character Anubis. And I'm not going to go into my older art because they're not relevant at all. They're just dead to me.
Here, like the person is like smiling like, but the mouth will like, it'll be like, and it'll go up to like the eye. I don't know what that demonstration just was, but just have a picture of it on screen. As you can see, like the mouth is like not where it's supposed to be.
I mean, and our faces contort in different ways when we make expression, and these artists are just exaggerating that.
Just a little clip from the video that I was watching before. But yeah, Butterscotch Arts, you do make a good point. Essentially what I was going to say.
And Yopio suffers more from the first style of mouth, having two dots. I mean, we do have like, two dots for the mouth, but anyways. But then it's like the mouth just does whatever it wants to. There's really no structure to it because, they don't draw the lips, so the mouth can just like do whatever it wants. It's kind of weird to me, but whatever. Whatever floats your freaking boat. But let me
Wow, way to condescend upon people who have a different art style compared to yours. Now, let's be really fucking petty and let's do the same exact formula to your art. Look at this here. It's so realistic. I don't get why most people have realistic art styles. Look how proportionate everything is compared to the measly mortals who have different art styles compared to mine. Look at me. I draw things differently compared to yours. Look at that. This is clearly not every furry art style ever. This looks like every fucking furry art style I've ever seen, with traditional art and everything. Look at the ears. Look how fluffy those ears are. It's not like I've seen those fluffy ears everywhere on Fur Affinity. We can play this game all you like, Fran. Hit me up on Twitter. At me directly. Don't skirt around. Don't bash butts. Don't cut to the chase. Oh, look! It's every My Little Pony art style ever. Look at the fluffy hair, the wings, the hooves, the tail. Oh my god, I have seen this everywhere on Equestria Daily. This is essentially what you sound to me, to say the least. You're so fucking condescending. Not a good look there, sweetie. Not a good look.
recognize the fact that they suffer from every art style ever style. What you can do is watch speed paints from people that have like really unique art styles.
Okay? I have done that before, but mostly I just do it for the sake of background noise while I do my own art style. Once again, Fran, you're comparing apples to oranges. Let's skip majority part of this video where she just shits on bodies.
One I've used art made by Yopio, and as you can see, the legs are two completely different sizes.
The legs are two completely different sizes. I understand that this is an anatomical error on the behalf of the artist, but have you failed to consider that it could be the way that they perceive perspective? I mean, let's be real. Perspective makes things seem smaller. I'll give you an example. Take a look at this coffee mug. It seems small. Let me move it closer. Now it looks bigger than what it was before. That's how perspective works. You clearly understand what perspective is, especially when it comes to your art style. I mean, I could crap on you on, like, what the fuck is her hoof doing? What the fuck is bending legs inward thing? Do I see people shitting you on for that? I don't think so. Maybe it's because that you have a severe superiority complex that needs a severe superiority complex that makes you think that you're better than everyone else. That's what I'm getting from you.
Like, I know one of them is lifted up, but does your leg shrink when you lift it up in real life?
No, but it kind of shrinks thanks to the idea of perspective when you lift it up. Again, look at the coffee mug example that I gave you.
I don't think so. If you do, you should probably see a doctor for that. Another thing I've highlighted is that the body is leaning forward, making everything else really unproportionate to
A body leaning forward, it can kind of skew the perspective, especially when it comes to art styles like hers, but give her some slack. Okay? Give her some slack. Her art style is actually pretty good. Sure, the faces may look weird, but her hands are her hands are fucking Gucci. Compared to my fucking hands, they look like goddamn sausages. Let's skip majority of this.
round and her body is straight up. Here's another example. This art is by Minky, of the proportions being incorrect with basically the same pose. The only difference is that one arm is shorter than the other. The reason
Again, perspective, Fran. Do you not understand how perspective works? You could go back and say one of the eyes looks smaller, okay? You could have said that one shoulder looks smaller. You could say that the leg looks slightly smaller than the other leg. Maybe either they have a bad art style compared to yours, thanks to your superiority complex, or you don't know jack fuck all shit about perspective. I'm 15 years old, and I think I know a lot more about perspective than you do, Fran. Reap what you sow, sweetheart.
this art here is by Marbleach. I've picked this one out because I noticed that people that draw with this art style never really draw knees.
Knees. Again, it's just an art style quirk. This is very Steven Universe-esque. I actually like the color palette on this, and the art style is very cute. However, you dare to go off and say that she doesn't have knees? Look at the fucking scrapes on her legs. At least you can tell that there are knees there, they're just not visibly drawn. If you're gonna be fucking petty about this, I could do the same thing to you all I like. Hell, I'll even do it right now. Have I seen this art style before? Ugh, where are the pony's knees? Where's the pony's crotch? Where's the pony's fucking nostrils? Oh, this must be bad art style. How can she breathe? Is she a mouth breather? This is essentially what you're doing to other art styles. Okay? And it's very fucking condescending.
Or any proportion to the leg whatsoever. It just ends up looking like one long sausage with feet attached to them.
And what's wrong with that? At least they understand anatomy better than you, I think. I mean, your art style is pretty good. It's about the same level as the artist that you're shitting on. Again, you're making mountains out of molehills. If you're so enraged by the fact that people have similar art styles to each other, when really this is only the very tippy top of the iceberg, honey, you're no better than Paul Joseph Watson when he says that things with trash, a room full of trash and garbage and concrete, is the art of today. You're no better than Paul Joseph Watson when he says, well, imagine my shock. There's fucking concrete that represents something that I clearly do not have the mental capacity to understand because I've been severely red pilled so much. By brain claws. Imagine my shock, my dude. You know? This is where she just points out the anatomical flaws, not really focusing on the art styles. This is where she gives off references, and this is where she ends off the video. So, what have we learned today? Even though Frank, or Fran, is essentially in the same age range, her art style, she thinks that her art style is superior to ours because everybody else compared to her has the exact same Tumblr art style. I don't have the Tumblr art style at all. You could have just looked a little bit deeper than the very tippy top of the iceberg with popular artists like good old, I don't know what you pointed out, and I don't really care at this point. You could have gone with lesser artists to give an example of what a good art style should be. I think I have a good art style. But maybe your head is so far up your ass that you think everybody that is not you has a Tumblr art style. Why don't you draw those anime eyes with a horribly realistic nose and mouth, says the one who draws fucking ponies. Why don't you look at this Tumblr nose, says the one who draws fucking ponies. Honey, sweetheart, 30 minutes of my life has come up to this. Fran, if you're gonna critique art styles, don't include people with those art styles. You can just go off on a rant on Twitter. You can just go off on a rant on DeviantArt in a little journal instead of making this whole entire video calling out several people who really did not deserve to be called out just because their art styles just so happen to be similar. You're full of shit, Fran.